Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Okay guys, so we are moving on. I do not have my other little piece of paper with me right now, so I don't remember which week we are on, but we're on a week, and I will write it down in the title of the video so you guys will know, but I won't. Basically what we're doing tonight though is like energy exercises or energy practicing, like how to channel energy. So I'm not sure exactly how long this video is going to be. I do want to just say that there's going to be homework, and what the homework is going to be, because I know not everybody makes it to the end of my video. Your homework is to basically practice energy balls, seeing auras, running energy, scanning yourself and others, identifying blocks and clearing them, and then journaling on the difference between entities, attachments, and cords, and allowing your soul to inform you with like that information, because we are going to be going deeper into that stuff as well. Not tonight, but in an upcoming video we'll talk a little bit more about entities and things like that. So I'll give you like a little bit of a rundown tonight about all of this stuff, and we're going to do some different things. So basically, we all know that energy exists. Energy is everywhere. Energy cannot be destroyed. It's not like created or destroyed. It's basically something that just exists, and it can transform. So because of that, we can take energy and we can manipulate energy. We can change the energy. We can use it to help things. We can use it to harm things. You know, not necessarily, it depends on your intention. You know, there's people out there who have bad intentions, and then there's people out there who have good intentions. The people who have good intentions, they are, you know, manipulating energy in a positive way. The people with bad intentions, they're manipulating energy in a negative way, and a lot of times they're not even aware of it. So, you know, it's not something that everybody's like, yeah, I got this energy I'm going to give to you and I'm going to hurt you, but that's what they end up doing. So, you've probably heard about, you know, different types of things that connect with energy. I want to basically just start off with something simple, something easy. These are just going to be exercises, and we've already talked about this stuff along the way too, so I don't want to be like ramming stuff that we've already kind of discussed back into your head, but I do want you to be aware of it and basically remember it. Because if you leave Alcyon Light Healing as a healer, you should be aware of the basic principles of energy, and you should be aware of how to kind of use that energy. Now, because we all have different gifts, the way that you take this energy and use it may be different from the way that I would, or the way that you experience the energy may be a little bit different than the way that I would. So the first thing that we're going to do is an energy ball. And basically, we're going to talk about the creation of an energy ball, like sending it into or through things, and then sending it over distance. So the easiest way for me to do this, and you can try different ways, is you just rub your hands together, and you get them nice and like warm, basically. You get the energy moving, basically, and then you... like this, you might be able to feel it just from doing that. Like you might be able to feel a little bit of this energy in between your hands. Like some people feel it when they do it very slowly. Like they'll feel like the resistance or the energy that's existing in there right now. You know, like when you push your hands together closely, you might feel that it's like, oh, there's a little resistance there. There's something in there. Now, if that's not the case, you might need to be somebody that does more so of this motion where you like literally look into your hands, and I want you to like breathe deeply and imagine that there's a ball there, and just kind of like, you know, do like the motion that there's a ball in there, and, you know, send that intention and that energy in there, you know, put your thought into it, put your intention into it, and then start to feel that little resistance energy that's in there. You know, and it may not be wicked huge, especially if you're not somebody that's a feeler. You may just be somebody that's like a knower, like I am. I do feel things. I do feel the difference in the subtle shift within the energy. But for me, it's more so just knowing that it's there. Also, sometimes I can see it. So like if the lighting is a certain way and I'm doing something, say I'm on the Reiki table and I have a person on the table, I've noticed that when I have my hand resting on that person, Sometimes I start to see the aura around my hand, or I'll start to see the energy flowing from here into that person, especially where there's dark. Like, where's the dark? Where there's like a dark blanket. Sometimes I'll start to see like the glow around my hand there, more so than I would, you know, in this position or this area. So if I had that dark blanket on their body and I was just kind of hovering around different areas, I might feel that shift in the energy, just a little subtle shift and things like that. It's not huge unless you're a big feeler. If you're a big feeler, doing this and, you know, setting that intention, breathing into it too, you know, like really take time. For me right now, it's not as strong as it normally would be because I'm talking, but if I literally just take a few minutes, center yourself, ground yourself, imagine that you're sending like roots down into the earth. You can send those roots down from your feet or from your root chakra, however it feels comfortable for you to do. And just imagine you're getting your energy all the way down through all the layers of the earth, just grounding and stabilizing, centering yourself, letting go of the outside world, letting go of your thoughts, your concerns, your worries. And then bring your presence or your focus and intention to your hands. And you can even do this with your eyes closed and warm them up a little bit, shaking them, rubbing them, getting them ready. And then try to feel if you feel any type of resistance between them. And if you don't, it might take a minute. It might not be instantly. Like you might need to kind of move them away from each other a little bit more than you would normally. Keep your eyes closed and just feel for that resistance. It might just start to feel it now, where it's just a little bit of resistance. And then if you feel it, or if you don't feel it, do the ball. You know, put your hand into a cup position where you're like rolling this ball around in your hand. And you can breathe into it to make it stronger and bigger. And you might feel it expand and get larger. And when you open your eyes and you look into there, you might notice that there's like a little bit of energy in there. You might see the energy. You might feel the energy, especially if you're in a room where there's not a lot of bright light. You can usually see your aura, where you can see the energy that's being formed within the ball. And even if you can't see it, even if you can't necessarily feel it, trust that it's there, okay? Because it is. And the more that you do this practice, the easier it will get over time. And you can, you know, do like movements like this for some people. This might make it easier for you to feel. It's kind of like having a balloon in between your hands. Now, that's how we create the energy ball. And so just our intention and our focus in that moment that we just took to do it, we created it. But if we're wanting to send it through something or into something, what I used to do a lot during like a healing session is I'd have somebody on my table and I would sit at their head or stand at their head and I would create that energy ball and then I would push it right into their crown and intend for it to go through all of their chakras, all the way out down the other end of them. And if there was somebody standing down there, they could feel it. They could feel the energy come through the other person and like hit them. So you can send it through a person just by like taking your hands at the head and basically, you know, creating that ball and then push it right into their crown. Don't hit them or anything like that, but just push it in and then push your hands and like leave your hands right on their crown like you're doing your healing session and intend that it goes all the way through their body, all the way through all their chakras, the chakra column, and out the other end. So you can send it through a person, you can send it through space and time, you can send it to, say you know that somebody's going to be going in for an operation or something like that, and you want to be able to send like a boost of power, a boost of energy, a boost of love, a boost of whatever, you can do that. And the thing is too, you can infuse symbols into your energy balls, you can infuse intentions into your energy balls. So if I knew somebody was going in for a surgery or going in for something specific, I might come up with a set intention that like at 12 p.m. on Monday, I want this energy ball to go impact Joe Schmo at this place, and I want it to rush through their entire energy field and their energy body and just protect them and keep them safe and keep them whatever the intention is. And you just send it off and let it know, because energy isn't going to die. It's not going to, you know, fade away. It might get manipulated or changed over time, but it's going to make it for what you've set it for. So you can do it like that through space and time, and you can do it through the people and basically over distance, like I just said. So those are the 3 different ways that you can kind of work with an energy ball, and you can get creative with it. You know, like you could grab a crystal and hold a crystal while you're creating the energy ball, and, you know, put that energy of the crystal into that energy ball and then blow it to the person or throw it at the person. You know, whatever feels appropriate to you. Everybody's got their thing. I'm a big believer that making this stuff your own is important, because what resonates for me and what resonates for you are probably going to be 2 different things sometimes. So not everybody's going to want to do exactly what Bridget did. So I want to encourage you to do what you want to do that makes you feel like, okay, I'm doing it. Like this makes sense to me. This just feels right to me. You know, like I can feel it. I can see it. I know it's there. I hear that it's here. However your gifts are, maybe you'll taste it. Maybe you need to taste the energy ball, or maybe you need to smell the energy ball in order for it to be, you know, manifested in your reality, like to know for sure that it's there. But those of us who have clear knowing, I know a lot of times we struggle because we're like, how do I know it's there? I don't know it's there. Your feeling body will get stronger over time, because I've been able to feel since the beginning, and it's like gone up and down over time. I feel like sometimes I've like almost numbed myself from feeling certain things because I don't like to feel a lot. And I think I just know so much sometimes that it's like I know what to feel rather than to actually feel it. So it can be hard doing practices like this with a clear knowing, because it's like I know what I'm supposed to feel and I know that it's there, but I don't necessarily feel it the way that, you know, Tina's like, oh my God, it's huge, it's amazing, and it's all like I can feel the resistance and I can see it sometimes and I can play with it, but I think other people have definitely felt it stronger than I have. So if you don't feel it, don't worry about it. Just know that it's there. Your intention is the biggest key. So then we have the egg of light, which is basically our aura. So we all have an aura, and our aura wraps around us. And depending upon how healthy we are energetically, dependent upon, you know, what's going on in our lives or what we've been doing with ourselves energetically, will depend on how, you know, good our aura is. Now, basically what this is going to be about is basically just feeling it, strengthening it, and expanding it. And then you can actually communicate from your aura. So first things first, you know, your aura, if you're somebody that does a lot of spiritual work, you're somebody that does a lot of meditation, you're somebody that does this stuff on the regular, your aura may be way out, okay? Like you may be like, boop, 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 doo, taking up a whole room. So I want you to first just like intend to bring it in. Just for those that, you know, definitely it's out there, we want to bring it in. And I'm going to turn off the light for this. I have this big light on that is on here, but so basically we bring in the aura and we're going to have it, you know, just like right around us, like an egg shaped. And I want you guys to basically take your hands. Now, for some people, you may be able to feel the resistance going like this, like, you know, feel like where your aura is by putting your hands out. Now, for other people, by putting your hands behind you in this position, that may make it a little bit more stronger for you to actually feel the resistance, because it's like a weaker part of you. Because like this is like your strong hands, this is like a weaker part of your hands. So you might, and this isn't something that you're used to doing. So this will help you to feel those subtle energies or feel that subtle shift that may be existing right now. So just try to feel where it is. Like I can feel mine's right here, and I can tell that it's like going out and around me. And so now we can feel it, And we can even feel for cords, you know, like if somebody has sent you an energy cord, or somebody has sent you, you know, some hate or some, you know, jealousy or some resentment or whatever, those cords hit you. So you should be able to feel like the spots on your aura sometimes that have those cords coming through that are impacting you. So you can literally like cut them, you know, clear them, or just like wipe them away, you know, like clear up that energetic space. Then ask, you know, Archangel Michael to come and to cut away these cords and to clear them away. You can call on Archangel Raphael to come in and basically heal the places that have been severed. And I've even done healing sessions with people where I could feel the person's aura was like messed up. So I ended up, you know, her body's down here. A lot of the session, I ended up here, like in her aura, and I was like cleaning her aura, and I was going around on both sides, and I was like clearing it all up and doing all this stuff inside her aura. So that's why I think it's important for you guys to be able to like recognize these things and realize that sometimes people's aura may be more in need of healing than their actual physical body. So if you get somebody on your table in a session and you're like, I just feel guided to be like all up here, go ahead and do it, because there's probably something there. You may not know exactly what it is or exactly where it originated from or all of that. But if you have clear knowing, you may be able to kind of intuitively know. If you have clear seeing, you can, you know, ask to see, what is this connected to? You might see the child, so that could be the inner child. You might see a vision of somebody sending hate their way, or the word hate, and you could be like, okay, maybe it's this person hates somebody, or somebody hates this person. So that would be like a good thing to make note of. So at the end of your session, you can talk to your person and be like, so, found a lot of hate, you know, like, what's been going on? You got somebody that doesn't like you, or you got someone you don't like, because they're usually going to jump up and be like, yep, blah, 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 and tell you. So it's kind of good for you to have that type of confirmation to give to them. And it's good confirmation for you, for them to jump up and say, yep, it's this bitch that I can't stand, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, there it is. So then we tell them, we just cleared all that, so let's clear that again, because they just started freaking out about that person again, being like, that bitch, blah, blah, blah. And tell them they're hurting themselves every time that they talk about that person in that way. Every time they stoop down to the level of that person, it's kind of like hurting them energetically. So if they've been feeling drained or tired or upset or whatever, we don't want to go there. And so these things are just kind of good ways to, you know, be aware of these different energy fields and to basically heal and to help people that are on the journey, and help yourself on the journey too, to know these things. And I find the best way for you guys to get better at this, or for you guys to like understand all these things, is to practice. Get somebody on your table, or get somebody to lay down at their house, and you sit and you imagine that they're there on your table and go through a session. And you don't even have to have a Reiki table. Use a regular table that you're imagining that they're on, or use a chair that you're imagining that they're sitting in, because you can do a session sitting, you can do a session with them laying down, you could even do energy healing with somebody standing up. But you want to have like somebody to work on, so that you can get some confirmation from them when you pick things up from them energetically. And if you get something and that person doesn't understand what you get, don't get like, oh no, I was wrong, I'm not doing it right, because sometimes people have no clue. Sometimes people don't realize what they're doing to themselves, or they don't realize that other people do not like them, or things like that. So don't ever take it like I was wrong, because it's probably unlikely that you're wrong about an energy thing happening. You may have been wrong about where it originated from, or, you know, why they have it there, but you're probably not wrong about the fact that there's something there and that it's connected to something. So you might be on the right track, and then, you know, by saying a couple of things to that person, jog them to get the information from them as to why it's there. So then later on in another session, when you feel that again on a different person, you know, maybe you feel like the energy stopped, or the energy fluctuated up and down, or there was something in the aura, it may have felt like a cord, you know, maybe you felt like somebody hated them, whatever. If you get that confirmation, the next time you do a session on somebody and you feel that, you'll know what it is. You're like, oh, I know what this is. So and everybody interprets energy differently. So what I feel as a block, or what I feel as something that's a problem, you may feel it completely differently from how I do.
So that's why I feel like practicing is what makes it perfect. And then, like I said, how we pulled our aura in, we can expand our aura out. And what that does is it gives us a bigger safety protection place, because this is like what protects us energetically from other people. Stuff gets in, stuff bumps it, stuff hurts it. So a good practice every day before you go to bed is to clear your energy egg, you know, to like, in the new paradigm, we used to do this thing where it was like when you go to bed at night, you vacuum your egg. Basically, you close your eyes and imagine that your whole egg is being vacuumed out of any energetic debris, of any type of stuff that's been in there all day with you, anything that's not good for you. We want to get rid of that stuff and get away. And then, like I said, you can push it out. So if you've got your aura right here, or you feel that resistance pretty close to your body, maybe it's like this far out where you feel the resistance, you can close your eyes and just breathe and intend to push it out. So wherever you feel that resistance, I can feel mine right here. I'm going to push it out. And make it larger. And I'm going to push it in all directions, forward, back, up, and down. And I can even expand further and further and further than where I can reach, and encompass as big of a space that feels appropriate for you, okay? It doesn't need to be appropriate to anybody but you. If you want to keep it close to you, keep it close to you. But when you go into a place like Walmart, or you go into a place like, you know, where there's a lot of people, you may want to expand it out a little bit just so that people aren't all up in your shit, you know, because it can actually be like a buffer zone where it's like people know that's your bubble. Some people will come right into your bubble, but a lot of people will feel your bubble, especially if you take the time to set that intention that this is my bubble and I don't want people in it. That's going to help to eliminate some of those people who come get in your bubble. Now, another thing you can do from your egg is communicate with other people. So basically, this is like telepathic things. So what you would want to do is find another person that you can do this exercise with, and basically imagine, you know, that you are coming up with like a vision or something, right? Like you come up with this, right? Like this is Nag Champa, and it's just incense. So if I was looking at this, I might come up with like incense, okay? And whoever I'm connecting with, or whoever I've spoke to, I'm going to say, okay, tonight at 8 p.m., I'm going to send you a mental image, or I'm going to send you a mental thought, and I want you to see if you can pick up what I send to you. And then you imagine that you're taking your aura and you're like expanding it out so far that it's reaching out and it's touching their aura, and it's downloading the energy and the information and the picture that you're holding on to within your mind into their aura, so that they can pick it up in their mind and they can tell you what it was that they saw. And you can have them do the same thing at the same time, so that you guys can kind of meet in the middle, so that your aura doesn't have to go the whole way to them. And you can even do this as like a thought bubble. Instead of doing your whole aura, just come up with like a thought bubble that you're going to send to them, or an energy ball that you're going to send to them that houses this picture, or this, you know, just incense in general, because it may be hard for them to be like Nag Champa, but who knows? You might have somebody that's like really in tune, somebody that really gets it and is just like Nag Champa, it was Nag Champa. So I've noticed that like when I've done this practice with people, especially when I have them in the room with me together, they do it well. So if you can, I know with the thing with the COVID, it's hard for people to be together, but if you do end up, you know, like maybe you live with people, you can try it out with the people you live with and just sit in the room together with each other, quiet yourselves down, empty your mind, and solely focus on what it is that you want to send to them for a thought, or to them for an image, and then just reach out with your aura and send that thought, or reach out with an energy ball and send that thought, whatever feels appropriate to you. And see if they get it, or see if they get close to it. See if they can pick up the color. See if they can pick up, you know, a word. See if they can pick up the energy and frequency of it. Like they might be like, is it a candle? And that's close to incense. So, you know, you encourage them. Don't be like, no, you're so stupid. Like that's going to make people totally turn away from wanting to do it. So encourage people, even if they're dead wrong, encourage them. Don't lie to them, but encourage them so that they keep wanting to do it with you. And that's basically one way to do this. Now, I used to do this with my dogs, and I would come up with like a picture of their dog treat, and I wouldn't say a thing. I wouldn't say nothing. I would just imagine that thing in my mind. I don't want to say it too loud because they're out there, but I would imagine their thing in my mind, and then I would send it to them, and they would be like, ooh, 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 like they knew. They knew. So you can do this with your pets, and you can try it out with your pet and see them. And again, you don't even have to use your aura. This is the aura is a way to kind of strengthen it, but you can just do it with your mind too. Or just do it with the energy ball, or however feels good for you to do it. But you can communicate telepathically with others. Now we're going to talk about seeing the aura, okay? So everybody's kind of different with this too. I find that the best way for me to do it is to have like a black background. It's going to be hard for me right now because we got this bright light on, but maybe if I turn it down a little bit. So I'm going to take this blanket because this is a dark blanket, and I'm going to just basically hold it like over here, and then my hand, I'm going to put my hand in front of it. So after a few moments of breathing deeply, just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. It may be hard because we're on video, but you can do this in your own home too. Like you can put your hand in front of something that's dark and just breathe deeply. And what I noticed too is that when I would do like a meditation, or I would do a like a night of healing or something, I would come home, and I had black curtains at the time. If I stood in front of the black curtains and turned my video on, I would glow. My whole body would glow. So sometimes just running energy, you can see like the energy coming off the hand. Now, after you take some nice deep breaths, pick one spot on my hand that you're going to look at. And it could be the center of my hand, it could be the finger, it could be whatever you want to look at, okay? And just focus on it, but don't super focus on it. I want you to just kind of let your eyes relax. And as your eyes relax, just kind of adjust to the energy, adjust to the light, and see if you can notice like the aura around my hand. You see that glowy energy around me? Like it's kind of like a shadowy energy around my hand. Some of you may see black, some of you may see white, some of you may see yellow or gold or orange. Everybody's different, but I can see, because this blanket's so dark, I can see the aura manifesting as dark right now. Sometimes when I do this, like in person, when I look at it right now, I can see my aura, which kind of looks green right now. Sometimes it may look purple, sometimes it may look white, sometimes it may look green, sometimes it may look orange. It's going to be probably whatever your strongest energy is right now. So because I'm seeing green, you know, my heart chakra may be the one that's like the strongest right now. Or just, you know, coming from a place of compassion, coming from a place of love. And that's what we do when we see someone's aura, is we kind of like tell what's going on with them. So, you know, if you look at me and like around me glows, you know, like this shoulder over here has the black background, you might be able to focus on this shoulder and get to see the energy field around it. You see that, like, that energy field there. Some of you will see it, some of you won't, and especially because it's on video, but I can see it immediately upon looking, like, especially when I move a little bit, you see that little, like, line of energy? It's, like, up here. It's not huge. It's, like, right here. And when I move, it moves. But that's an aura. Now, up here, it does have some white energy. So your aura isn't just right down here, but this is usually where people can see it the most. Up here, you'll see the aura too. So I can see like some orangey energy in that black box right there. That wasn't there a minute ago. But now that I'm letting myself adjust, now I'm letting myself see, here comes that green that I was seeing, and it will fluctuate and change. Like, have you ever seen an aura picture of somebody where they've got like green over here and they've got blue over here and they got this over here? I could see some color over here. I could see some color over here.
And it's kind of like I'm actually seeing different colors. So you may be seeing different colors on me too. Just try to look at me without really looking at me. Like, don't stare directly at me. Just pick a spot and like gently stare at it, but not, you know, focusing your eyes. It's almost like when you just kind of sit there and gaze off. That's how you want to be. So you can do this with your own hand. If you have something dark, put your hand in front of it and just look at your hand for like 30 seconds is all it takes to look at one spot and just relax your eyes, and you'll start to see your aura. And another way too is to have something that's dark like this that you can see like the energy between you and that thing. You know, kind of like with the energy ball too. It would be a good place to practice an energy ball. So having something black, having something dark to be your background or be your backdrop has really helped me. Other people say use white. So if you have a white wall or you have a white blanket or something, you can try it with that. You might be somebody that needs the white in order to see the color of the aura. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. So don't beat yourself up if you can't see it with the dark. Maybe you need the lighter stuff. But that's basically how I've always done it. And like I used to do like a thing where I would have people come and I would have them stand by themselves and everybody else would kind of sit together and we just look at them and see who saw what. So like this person would have seen, oh, I see blue around their heart, or I see green around their knee, or I see something's messed up there. And wherever we saw something messed up, it would be like, oh, that's where I broke my knee, or that's where I fell down and got hurt, or that's where my energy doesn't run appropriately right now. So you might even notice fluctuations in people's aura where it's like everything's glowy, 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 glowy around them. And then right here, there's like a dip, or there's like a shift in the color, or something isn't right there. Or you just feel called to that energy center. You just get called to that place on their body for a reason. It's an indicator to you that something's up there, and they usually confirm it to you, like, yeah, I just had my heart broken, or yeah, it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be spiritual, it could be anything. So that's seeing auras, and I do have a video on the channel about this where I do it longer, and I did have a black background on that one, and I didn't have to hold it up and everything, so you can go watch that video too if you want to try it again. And I did like the deep breathing with you in that one. Like deep breathing is going to be key in any of these practices, because it's going to really help you to calm yourself down and get into the right mind frame and into the right space to do this. So just take your time with this stuff. It's not something to rush through. It's not something to get upset about. It's not something, I can't do it. Because if you affirm I can't do it, you're not going to do it. But if you affirm I can do it, you're going to do it. So trust that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If you told me I was going to do this 6 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, what? No, I'm not. All right. So then we're going to talk about scanning bodies, imbalances and blocks, and finding blocks. Now, we did talk about this when I did the energy practices video, like, I mean, the how to do like a healing video. So basically, you know, if you have somebody on your table, you may want to scan them before you start your session. What I usually do is I, clean up the space. I'll burn some Palo Santo, and I do like the vortex, or I do the 4 directions, and I open up sacred space usually before they get there. And then even when they do get there, a lot of times I, again, either call in the 4 directions or open a vortex for them specifically. And then while they're on the table, before I start the session, their head is here, I will start and I will just scan. Like I'll take my hand and I'll scan across their body. And when I feel something, that's when I'll either feel an imbalance where maybe the energy goes up or down. Like you'll feel like a dip, you feel dip. That could be an imbalance, okay? And if you get a dip at the heart, they may have an imbalance in the heart chakra. Now, if you're going, and then you stop and it's like it doesn't want to move, that could be a block, okay? Now, again, this is something that I find that you guys and myself may shift a little bit. You may feel a block totally different than how I feel a block. The block to you may be a dip, or an imbalance to you may be a stop. So
You will have to kind of navigate this on your own. You're going to have to trust your intuition. I can't give you every single piece of information. I can give you what I know, and I can give you what I've done, and I can give you what other people have experienced. Like, traditionally, when somebody's scanning a body and there's an imbalance, it's up and down. There's like a fluctuation in the energy. Traditionally, when somebody has a block, they feel the block, like the energy doesn't want to move, or they feel maybe even just a block, like they feel like I feel like a block that maybe they can move it, but it doesn't want to leave that general area. It's going to manifest to you the way it's supposed to. So if you're clear seeing, you may see a block, like you may see like a line of energy that just like is protruding out from that area, or you may see the imbalance as like, their color of all their chakras is all up here, and then like the one that's messed up is like dipped down or dipped up, depending on if it's underactive or overactive. And learning and educating yourself on what that means will also make a big difference too, because if you have someone come in and they're hyperactive and they're crazy and they're anxiety, you might know that, okay, they have like a overactive this chakra or an underactive that chakra. You know what I mean? Like, dependent upon how they're acting, you might be able to kind of know without even having to look at their energy that they've got some energy imbalances, or like where to look to see if there's energy imbalances, because you already knew going into it that they're acting this way, and this way, or they came in sad and they came in crying and they came in, grieving. So their heart chakra may be underactive because they're all upset about something, or it could be overactive. It could be that it could be for the same reasons. Everybody reacts to things differently. So major part of this is your intuition and how you're gonna specifically work with spirit. So you may feel, you may see, you may know, you may hear, you may taste, you may smell. That's the thing too, like you may smell a blockage, and be like, what is that? And then, find out as you're going through the session that like, as you're clearing that energy field or clearing that energy center, that the smell shifts and releases. So that could tell you that there was a block there, or an imbalance there. Something was there that shouldn't have been there. And once you released it with your healing session, the smell disappeared. So that's a way to do it for some people who have the clear like smell gift. For somebody that's like clear taste, you may get a bad taste in your mouth when they show up. And then as you work on their throat chakra, it clears away. You may find out afterwards that they're a smoker, or that, they were having a hard time speaking their truth. And that's how it manifested for you to figure that out. It's going to be all different. You may get a bad taste in your mouth because they have a sore tooth, and like you may physically feel pain. I've had that happen. When I get people on my table who are in physical pain, I get the pain that they have. Like if they've got a sore lower back, I can feel it. And so I'll put my hand right underneath them. Like I slide my hand underneath the person and I put my hand on top of them as well, like this, like one under and one on top. And people love that. They think that's the best thing, especially if they have a sore back. And then I can do it up higher too. Another way that you can do it is like if they're laying down with the pillow, you can put your hand underneath the pillows and underneath their shoulder blades and let your warm energy run through them that way. Another thing that I have is this heating pad. So I have this big huge pad on my table that heats up, and that really helps people too. People love that. So if you want to find one of those, they're not too expensive. I actually got mine for free. Somebody was like getting rid of it because it doesn't have like the button thing on it isn't it's like broken, but you can still turn it on and off. You just can't adjust the heat. So I plug it in until it's hot and then I unplug it. But basically all of those things are things you can do to kind of see what's going on, or to reach the energies, or to help people to feel more comfortable. And you're going to have to trust your intuition on some of these things. Now, we're going to talk about moving the energy, okay? So basically, say somebody comes in and you find that they have that imbalance or they have that block. Now, what do you want to do? You want to move the energy. You want to clear the energy, depending upon what it is. Like if it's an imbalance and it's low, you may want to bring it up. And it's just going to be like putting your hand on the chakra that it's connected to, or putting your hand on the part of the body that's connected to. Maybe they have like kidney stuff, maybe they have back stuff, maybe they have lung stuff, Maybe they have, you know, whatever stuff that could be connected to their feet, could be connected to their knees, could be connected to their ankles, their wrists, their bones. But you basically put your hand wherever you find the imbalances connected to energetically. And what I do when I feel imbalances is like I will pull the energy up, you know, like I pull until I feel like that lower dip comes up. Now, if it's one that's higher up, I push it down, and I push it down until I feel like it's good. And then another thing that I do, like when I feel a block, is if I feel a block, I push through it. I get rid of it, but I also keep one hand on the space where the block is connected to. And then once I clear it, I allow my hand to run through it like this, all the way up and down, and I check on the different levels. Like there's the physical level, there's the emotional level, there's the spiritual level, there's the mental level. So if this person is like blocked on the emotional level, we might need to spend a little bit more time there. Maybe they're grieving somebody, like I said. So you might need to keep your hand on their heart and, you know, really clear that energy center up for 5 to 10 minutes. But because you're working on it and your intention's there, it's going to clear it. So that's all it takes is your intention, a little bit of focus, a little bit of time. So then running energy in a session or anywhere is basically the same thing. It's all your intention. You just want to run that energy however feels right to you. You know, you can do it through visualization. You can do it through intention, just like imagining, like in your head, like this is what my intention is, like to run energy through this person's body, or doing the Gasho prayer beforehand, or doing the vortex beforehand, or opening sacred space beforehand. Like my body knows, like when I start calling in those directions, my hands start to heat up, my body starts to warm up, like I start to shift, my energy starts to shift, I start to get into this like weird like thing where I start moving back and forth a little bit, and I get my drum out and I start drumming, and I just like do whatever I'm called to do. And that's all you got to do, is just do whatever you're called to do. Let the energy take over, you know, like the good positive energy of spirit, because you're in the flow. If you've opened the vortex, you have a pillar of light, you're in the divine flow. So you don't have to worry about any imbalances or craziness or darkness or whatever, because that may be on them, but it's not going to impact you. All you got to do is be in your zone and trust where you're led to go. I find that like whatever music I pick or whatever, you know, which way I'm going with the session will also impact how I run the energy. Like sometimes I start at a person's head, sometimes I start at a person's feet, sometimes I start at a person's belly. It just depends on the particular person. It depends on the energy of the room. It depends on where I am. Like if I was at a Reiki clinic, sometimes we only do like a 15-minute session as opposed to like a full hour session. Sometimes I start sitting down at their head. Sometimes I start all over the places. But running your energy, do it how it feels right to you. And do it either through visualizing it with your eyes closed, or do it through just intention and imagining that like you're thinking it through you. You're thinking the energy to do what it is you want it to do. And you're going to feel it, or you're going to know it, or you're going to taste it, you're going to smell it, you're going to do something, you might hear it, you might hear spirit say, go to the heart, and you go to the heart. And while you're at the heart, you might hear that it's imbalanced, or you might hear a word like grief, or you might hear a word like sad. And you might know that this person's sad now, so you might need to lift their heart energy up and then flow that energy around, you know. And I find that just movement around the person gets the energy flowing, it gets the stuff going, it gets it going in a good vibe. Playing the drum on them, playing a singing bowl around them, playing the triangle, whatever you want to do, doesn't matter. As you can put crystals on the body, that's another thing here. Channeling crystal energy into a session. Basically, you can, like for me, I would take like different crystals, and this one's a big one, but like this one may be safe for their belly. It's kind of heavy. Then I had a whole table over here. I usually let my intuition guide me. So like if I was feeling certain things, like, you know, if I knew their heart was messed up, I might grab a green stone because I know their heart needs something. So I place this on their heart. Like this one's another one that would be good for the heart. And then this one would be good for like the solar plexus or the sacral area. So maybe they have some confidence issues or whatever. So if you're good with crystals, more so than you are with energy, or more so you are with healing right now, you can let the crystals tell you what to do too. Because if you know what this means and you're guided to go put this somewhere specific on their body, then you might know that that person needs whatever this is to that part of the body. So if you know what crystals are, or you know, are interested in crystals, educate yourself a little bit, get yourself a base set of like maybe 7 to 10 crystals that you bring with you to sessions, or that you have with you during long distance sessions, and whatever one you're called to, you know, you can even program them. Like my mesa, what I have inside my mesa is just regular rocks, but my rocks were activated at different times for different reasons. So one is connected to the ancestors, one is connected to Pachamama, one is connected to, you know, the star keepers, one is connected to this, one is connected to that. When I open up my mesa and I get called to use certain stones on certain parts of the body, or just certain stones in general, I know instantly that something's going on with that person in regards to what that stone was. So what you can do is just get stones and say, this is my stone for grounding. Boom. And you can program a stone or a crystal with anything that you want it to be programmed with. So if you want to program this to be a grounding crystal for the heart chakra, you know, you give it a couple of things like, all right, this is my heart chakra, this is for grounding, this is for unconditional love. So whenever you are intuitively working with somebody and you go over to your crystals and this one's like, work with me, and you just feel guided to work with this one, you might know that person needs some grounding, that person needs some heart chakra stuff. And then you can take this one and say, okay, this one's going to be for their solar plexus, and this is going to be for confidence and strength, and this is going to be for courage and whatever else. And then when you're done, you know, again, you get called to put this, maybe you get called to put this in a place that's not the solar plexus. Maybe you get called to put this on the throat. So that tells you they need strength, confidence, and, you know, courage at their throat chakra. They haven't been speaking their truth. They've been holding back, or they need it here. They need the strength and the courage to see clearly, to see a new perspective, that they're not seeing something that they need to, like, find that courage to see. So you need to use your intuition, basically. But you can use tools like this to be programmed specifically the way you want them to be, or you can use tools like this to communicate to you what the things are if you already know what they mean. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. I know that I'm kind of like rushing a little bit, but I just don't want to keep you guys on here forever. And then the last thing is energy cords, attachments, entities, guides, I am presence, and implants. So basically cords, we've already talked about. Cords are going to feel like a cord. They're going to be like this cord going into the body. All right. And they go right in, and they usually hit different places. They usually hit the solar plexus. They usually hit the heart. They can hit down into their relationship area if it's like really impacting their relationships. Maybe they've got a hater, or maybe they got a group of people who hate them, so the relationships are like ding, 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 a bunch of cords down here. Maybe because they know all those people hate them, it's really messing with their solar plexus, it's messing with their confidence, their strength, so bing, 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 a bunch of those. And then with their heart, maybe somebody broke their heart, boom, 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 bunch of there. So you will probably feel energy cords like an actual cord. And then attachments are what happen when we don't cut our cords. So this cord will, over time, get bigger. And it'll get bigger. And it'll get bigger. And it'll get bigger. And it'll get bigger. So it will, like, keep compounding. So I got 2 of these sticks. You can think of it, like, as, like, a bigger, you know, thing of energy. So then it kind of, like, it just attaches to them. And it may just attach in a certain area. It may be, like, a big, huge ball of energy. Or maybe a big wall of energy, like a big block that you can't go through. Or it may start to manifest itself into other things, you know, so basically that would be an attachment. You'd want to get rid of that. Same thing as like you wanting to get rid of the cords. Now with an attachment, it's going to take a little bit more effort. It's going to take more time. You're going to have to spend 5 to 10 minutes trying to clear that thing away and, you know, pulling away from it, finding the root of it, you know, like digging energetically and cutting and digging and cutting and getting it out of there and clearing it away. And then healing that spot that was all messed up. Maybe you feel guided to put some crystals on that spot that was all messed up because they're going to help to, you know, shift the frequency back into alignment, or that frequency of that crystal may be specifically good for that area. It's like, say it was the heart and you got like a green stone. Green is the color of the heart chakra, so it would make sense. This one's brown and green, so that's why I was saying grounding, because usually brown stones are very grounding, but they don't always have to be. Some of the highest vibrational stones can be brown. It doesn't matter. But there is usually like a theme within the stones I found. So the more you get to know about them, the more you'll understand that. Now, the next thing after an attachment is an entity. So if you don't let that attachment get off of you, if you hold on to that attachment, or you hold on to an attachment with a particular person that's not good for you, that's toxic to you, you can actually create a demon or like an entity that's no good. And you don't want that because you're miserable, because you're sad, because you're imbalanced, because you're in the dark, because you're and it just it either creates it out of you, because I feel like a majority of people who have entities or demons created them themselves, or they attracted them themselves by focusing on negative things. I find a lot of people, it comes from sexual trauma. If they were raped, or they were molested, or they were, you know, abused sexually in any way, entities come. And it's because of the shame and the guilt and the fear and the doubt and all of the stuff that goes along with it. All of those cords turn into an attachment, and over time turn into an entity, either coming from the outside that wants to feed off of that sadness and grief and fear and that loathing and that self-hate and all of that, or it manifests from inside of them. So you might need somebody on the outside of you, if you're still new to this, to help you with an entity, but you shouldn't have to. As if you stand in your power and you're not afraid of that entity, you can get rid of it. You just say, I demand that you leave this space now. And say whatever you feel guided to. Like, I've done like full-on exorcisms, and I was like, I never thought that I'd be like, in the name of Jesus Christ, I compel you to leave. But I had to, because the person that was on the table believed in Jesus and Mary so strongly that by me saying those things helped her to believe, to get rid of it. You know what I mean? So somebody that more so believes in like the galactic stuff, if I call on the emissaries of light to come in and help me to get rid of this entity now, and to block it, to clear it, to get out of here, and it's not welcome here, and blah, 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 it'll go. Because that person's going to believe that the emissaries are strong enough to get rid of it. But if they don't believe that, if I do the emissaries on somebody who doesn't believe in the emissaries, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Your consciousness is the thing that creates so much stuff. Your consciousness is very strong. Your beliefs are very strong. So if you believe in Mother Mary and Jesus over, you know, Kuan Yin, or Kuan Yin over Mother Mary, or whoever, that's who we need to utilize to get rid of these things, or to work on these things for the most part. Not always. Sometimes there's going to be things out there that we literally need to call on Jesus and Mother Mary and God, and in the name of God and in the name of Jesus and blah, 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 just because of what they are or where they came from. So we'll talk a little bit about that in another one. I don't like doing too much information about them, because then people focus on fear, or they focus on actually attracting those things because they're like, oh, I'm scared of it, or, oh, no, it exists, or, oh, but it doesn't. It doesn't exist unless you feed it, okay? The only way it's going to come is if you create it. And you don't have, and if you create it, you have the power to get rid of it. You have the strength to get rid of it. So whatever you create, you can remove. You can clear, you can harmonize, you can balance, you can, you know, get rid of whatever. So whatever you believe in that's stronger than the dark is what you would use to overcome the dark. So if me talking about demons and entities scares you or freaks you out a little bit, and that at night when you go to bed you get a little scared, call on whatever it is. Like Archangel Michael can come in and clear them out. Saint Germain can come in and transmute them away. There's so many beings out there of light and of love and of health and of happiness. The emissaries of light will help you. Your guides will help you. And then that's what I was going to say too. You have tons of guides available to you all the time. So start to work with them. Start to get to know them. They might come in for a specific healing session, or you can call them in for a specific healing session. When you're doing something with somebody that has an entity, you might say, all right, Jesus, Michael, you know, whoever, I need you guys here with me right now because this person's got an entity attached to them, or they got a demon attached to them, or they got whatever attached to them, and we need to get rid of it. And you just call on the guides that you know are your guides. And if you don't know who your guides are, start meditating and start asking, who are my guides? And trust what you receive. You might get a letter, you might get a number, you might get a feeling, you might get a color. And whatever you get, you're going to have to trust your intuition to guide you to the information that's connected to that guide. So if you got a number, you could say what guide or what angel or what master or what ascended master is connected to this number. And it might be a card that pops up, like an oracle card that's like number 42, blah, blah, blah. And that could be the confirmation for you to let you know that ascended master Germain is the one that you need to be working with. You need to trust, and you will be guided to your information specifically. And once you get that initial Master Germain, usually you'll find yourself guided to more things about Master Germain, not just that first thing. So it will give you further confirmation and further confirmation and further confirmation. So that's going to help you too. And also paying attention to synchronicity over time will help you to figure those things out. Like, I've just known since I was a kid that Michael has been one of my guides. I used to call on him at 3 a.m. when I was scared, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh my God, something's here. I couldn't sleep with a mirror in my room. I was like deathly afraid of them, but come to find out they're portals, so no wonder why I was a little freaked out. But basically, I knew he was my guide. And then over time, I started working with different guides. And I can call in a guide. I can call in the Emissaries of Light, or I can call in the Syrians, or I can call the Lyrans, I can call the Andromedans, I can call whoever, and they come. They just show up. Or I can call on Pachamama, and I can call on the Spirit of the Earth, or I can call on the different archetypes from the Monet Key, like the jaguar, the serpent, the hummingbird, the eagle condor. Whoever you call on will come. But you do want to figure out who your specific guides are, or who your power animal is, or who your, master is that's out there working with you or trying to work with you, because you'll be a better team with them. And then the last thing, your I am presence basically is always with you. Your I am presence never leaves you. Your I am presence is basically your higher self, your divine self. People have a lot of different names for it, but basically it's you, okay? It's your higher self. And there's multiple versions of your I am presence. There's some from other lifetimes. There's some from other star systems. I just saw a big light over there. They're all over the place. And sometimes people will see your I am presence when they work on you, like when they do a session on you, or maybe you do a meditation sitting next to somebody, or somebody guides you on a meditation. They may see you as your I am presence, or they may see your I am presence of a different lifetime, or they may see, something connected in that way. But your I am presence is always there. You can always call on your I am presence to assist you with a healing session, to guide you, to know the difference between an imbalance and a block, to know the difference between a cord, an entity, and, whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're feeling. You can trust your I am presence to know and to guide you, and to be like, I am presence, which crystal. And the I am presence is the one that guides you to the crystal. So like if you are guided to a particular crystal and you don't know why, it was your I am presence that brought you there. And then implants is the last thing. So implants, basically, there are some negative entities out there, like basically like bad aliens or bad gray aliens. And they can put implants like back here, or they can put them like in somebody's wrist or somebody's hand or whatever. It's not a huge deal. It's just there. It's usually a way to like read your energy, or a way to like kind of shut you down a little bit. Like it may like, it could be one from Atlantis. There could be one from long time ago. You could have had it this whole time. So don't freak out about it, because it's not a big deal. If you have an entity, if you have an entity or an attachment or a implant, we're going to be getting rid of them, okay? So we're going to be doing that pretty soon. I think that might be the next video is scan, clear, reset, energy activation, and then after that is the entity implants removal activation. So you'll probably have this week to go through, and then we'll be doing your implant entity removal. So you've had it all this time, don't worry about it, okay? It's not a big deal. But basically, you can have an implant in a different place, and it might be used to, like, shut down a certain chakra, or to, disconnect you from your I am presence, but usually people are stronger than the implants. Usually people are stronger than what's put into them. And because we're going to do more stuff, I'll talk more about that at another time. But basically, just know that you've made it this far, and you're totally fine. So don't freak out about it. Don't worry about it. Just know that we're getting rid of it, okay? So hopefully this has assisted you guys. We're right at an hour, so I'm glad that we didn't go too long with this. If you have any questions at all, put them down in the comments, and maybe I'll do a live to do something like, hey, you got questions about this particular topic, And I can do it in here and like show you different techniques and things like that. Because now I've got my room back. And it's finally set up. So, thank you guys very much. Namaste.